Let's bring in Texas Republican Congressman Brandon Gill. He is a member of the House Judiciary Committee who is in that weaponization hearing. He's just stepped out to speak with us now. Congressman, thanks for being with us. If we, you in Congress, or Attorney General Pam Bondi, are able to establish that there are prosecutors inside the DOJ that executed the marching orders of politicians to affect an American outcome, an election outcome, what can be done? What can be done with those prosecutors?
Well, first of all, Will, thank you for having me on the show. We suffered through 4 years of the Biden administration weaponizing the federal government against the American people, and in particular, his political enemies. You named just a few examples, but you could also add concerned parents who were worried about the curriculum that were being taught in their schools. You could add pro-life protesters that the Biden FBI went after. You could name so many different examples. This is a two-tiered justice system. That's what our committee is looking after now. For 4 years under the Biden administration, Joe Biden and his cronies would steamroll investigations. They would refuse to provide evidence. They would withhold evidence, did everything they could to hide what they were actually doing. So we have got to continue these investigations because I think we've barely scratched the surface. But to your point, once we're done investigating, and this will take some time, we have got to follow up with action. What's different now is that we have a DOJ who is not politically partial. They are looking to institute justice, bring justice back to this country, and we've got a ton of work to do, but we're just getting started here.
It's a great point. I'm glad you brought up that this didn't just affect Donald Trump. This affected everyday Americans, including Catholics or pro-life protesters. I do hope, and with a new Attorney General in Pam Bondi, we can see more. The investigations in Congress are important, but they're there to highlight information. They do have to form some level of accountability. It will be fascinating to see what prosecutorial abuse means for accountability for various prosecutors. I want to move to this because this is happening tonight. It's supposed to happen tonight at 6:30 p.m. And that is the House of Representatives set to vote on a budget. What's the latest? Do you expect there to be a vote? And do you have the votes to pass a budget?
Well, I do expect there to be a vote. You know, there's been some pushback within the conference. Remember, we've got a diverse conference on the Republican side. Unlike the Democrats, we do not all walk in lockstep. We think independently. The Speaker's job is to bring a very diverse coalition together to pass the Trump agenda. Tonight is just the first step in doing that, in actually enacting the Trump agenda, securing the border, providing funding for the largest mass deportation operation in American history, re-upping our military, and extending the Trump tax cuts to ensure that 60% of Americans don't see their taxes hike under Republican governance. So I feel good about where we stand with things right now. We've got some details we need to iron out, but we have got to get this one big, beautiful bill passed for the American people.
All right, Congressman, I only have about a minute left with you, and I hate to leave such an important story to such little time. But for all the concern about Elon Musk and Doge and the privacy of the everyday American citizen, there is a story out now that the IRS leaked 450,000 Americans' private data out there to the public. What can you tell us about this story coming out of the IRS?
Well, if you remember last May, a spokesperson for the IRS said that they only leaked data of 70,000 Americans. And remember, this is being leaked to ProPublica, a left-wing news organization that is funded in part by George Soros. We're now learning today that it wasn't 70,000, it was 405,000. Now remember, these are the kinds of things that we've got to get details on. This is why these congressional investigations are so important, because the American people deserve answers for what the Biden administration was doing to them for 4 years.
Yeah, for all the concern about Elon Musk and quote-unquote external organizations, which they are not in Doge, it's the career bureaucrat that we are supposed to entrust with our private information. I don't know where that trust was ever earned. Congressman Gill, great to talk to you. We'll let you get back to your hearing. Thanks for stepping out for us here today.
Thanks for having me.